the response at home and in the UK, it's like, I don't know, I wasn't expecting it. I always, like, the success of the first album was kind of, it's not very often you get success like that, so to kind of get it again so far on my second record, I feel a little bit like I'm a really good blagger. Like, but we'll see how it goes. It's still early days.
Adele might sometimes feel like her success is due to her skills as a blagger, someone who talks their way into something they don't really deserve, but her music tells a very different story. That story is about a singer-songwriter who had a lot of success very young on the strength of her writing and her impressive voice. Adele's chart-topping follow-up to her Grammy-winning debut 19 is out now. It's called 21, and we'll hear more about that today on Words and Music from Studio A. It's a conversation with Adele. Hi, I'm Rita Houston. When Adele first started performing in her native UK in 2007, a lot of critics were eager to group her with other female artists who were big at the time, like Amy Winehouse and Duffy. But while Adele shared some influences with both artists, her affinity with singer-songwriters like Norah Jones, Suzanne Vega, and Regina Spektor showed through too, and really set Adele apart. I first met Adele back in 2008 when 19 had just come out, and I was struck by her honesty as a songwriter, her serious North London accent, and of course, her powerful voice. And she's given that amazing voice a workout on 21, which, like 19, is named after her age when it came out. Most of the songs are originals, telling a story of love gone wrong like only someone really, really young can. And there's one cover of Adele's mum's favorite band, The Cure. Let's get into our conversation with a different song, one Adele recorded especially for us. Here's an acoustic version of the first single from 21. Here's Adele with Rollin' in the Deep on Wfuv.
There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch, and it's bringing me out the dark. Finally, I can see you crystal clear. Go ahead and sell me out, and I'll lay your bare. See how I'll leave with every piece of you. Don't underestimate the things that I will do. There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch, and it's bringing me out the dark. The scars of your love remind me of us. They keep me thinking that we almost had it all. The scars of your love, they leave me breathless. I can't help feeling we could have had it all. Rolling in the deep, you have my heart instead of your hands, and you played it to the beat. Yeah, baby, I have no story to be told, but I've heard one on you, and I'm gonna make your head burn. Think of me in the depths of your despair. Make a home down there, as mine sure won't be shared. The scars of your love remind me of us. They keep me thinking that we almost had it all. The scars of your love, they leave me breathless. I can't help feeling we could have had it all. Rolling in the deep, you have my heart instead of your hands, and you played it to the beat. Could have had it all. Rolling in the deep, you have my heart instead of your hands, but you played it with a beating. Throw your soul through every open door. Count your blessings to find what you look for. Turn my sorrow into treasured gold. You pay me back in kind and reap just what you sow. We could have had it all. We could
We're sitting on some couches at Columbia Records having an opportunity to catch up with Adele on the occasion of the release of her brand new record titled 21. Hi there.
Hi.
It's great to see you again.
And you, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good.
Since we've seen you last,
Yeah.
a lot has happened. You won a couple of Grammys. You toured the world. You sold a lot of records and have made a lot of fans all over the country from your debut record. And now you just finished up your second album.
Yes.
It's been a busy run for you lately, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been incredible. It's been it was all such a whirlwind when I was doing the work on 19, like travelling and visiting all the places for the first time, like, you know, and it was all kind of quite breathtaking, to the point where I can't remember much of it because I kind of had to put a bit of a wall up, otherwise I think I would have collapsed from like too much excitement and nerves. But the response so far, I mean, obviously I'm only just getting back here to the US to kind of start promoting 21, but like the response at home and in the UK, it's like I don't know, I wasn't expecting it. I always, like, the success of the first album was kind of, it's not very often you get success like that, so to kind of get it again so far on my second records, I feel a little bit like I'm a really good blagger, like but we'll see how it goes. It's still early days.
Rollin' in the Deep is the opening track, and it is a great song, and that's
Thank
really,
you.
You're welcome. I mean, that is really starting to catch on here in the States, and of course in the UK and throughout Europe. The album has already been topping the charts and stuff. Rollin' in the Deep is the lead track here, and I read somewhere where you described it as a dark, bluesy gospel disco tune, and I was like, that's why I like that song. It's a dark, bluesy gospel disco tune. Were those were your words, right?
Yeah, I was just. Someone was like, "How would you describe the sound of it?" Because obviously it's very different to anything I did on 19. Like, and the lead song off of 19 was "Chasing Pavements." In pretty much all the places I went to, it's very different to that song. So, like, how, you know, how have you changed musically? And I was very inspired by a lot of kind of Americana music because I was here touring for so long. So I was like, yeah, it's kind of a bit of this, bit of that, bit of this. It ended up coming out as a dark bluesy gospel disco tune.
I love that.
But yeah, it's just that kind of it's got a sort of I will not be walked all over anymore. And I was on 19, and I think a bluesy gospel dark disco tune is the perfect way to express that.
Do you remember where you were when you wrote that song?
I had the first verse for ages. I wrote half of the first verse in Holland, and I wrote half of the first verse, the second half of the first verse in America at some point, a cappella. Couldn't finish it on my own because I knew I wanted to have this massive sort of like kind of production behind it, but I'm still limited as a musician. I can only play 4 or 5 chords, and I get easily distracted in the studio with equipment, so I would never been able to turn it into what it became. And I finished the bulk of it in West London with Paul Epworth, who produced some other songs, but he finished writing that one with me, and it was done within 4 hours of me singing the first verse to him. And he's like, oh, I know exactly what it should do, and then it was done. So.
You worked with a couple of different collaborators on this record. Paul is one of them.
Yeah.
A couple of other guys. Of course, Rick Rubin is the executive producer on it. Adele, how do you like communicate what's in your head? Because I get the feeling, I've seen you perform live a bunch of times, had the chance to talk to you a few times. It's all in.
Yeah.
You're hearing, you got the whole thing in your head. Do you find that you've really had to learn the vocabulary to how to communicate
Absolutely.
what sounds you're looking for, what you're trying to accomplish?
Absolutely, no, because I have a vision, I just can't articulate it, like, you know, and I can't describe it. But when I do something that is part of my vision, I feel it, and I know that it's like, oh yeah, this is part of it. I don't know what it's part of, but it's part of something. So yeah, I mean, I'm still not articulate enough with when I'm describing what it is that I like. I've just got to go on how something makes me feel, which is luckily is pretty much what Rick is all about. It's all about the song, and it's all about the music and how it makes you feel. It's like I had no idea what was going on for a whole month while I was working with Rick. It was so isolating in a really brilliant way. But it wasn't about the glitter that goes on a record afterwards when it's done, you know. It was just about, how does this song make you feel, you know. If it's believable and convinces you, then it's amazing, you know. And Paul Epworth had that same kind of, that feeling and motto with music. So I was lucky enough that they kind of were more expressive through music than vocabulary as well, because otherwise I would have been a little bit stuck. But I involved everyone in my relationship. The relationship that the record's about, like, it was over by the time I kind of ended up actually working with all of them. But I'd walk in and be like, oh my God, like.
No, but you need to keep those feelings close to the surface, because that's where
them.
Creativity comes from, right?
I need to tell them what I want to write about, how I'm feeling, so they can try and imagine when they felt like that at some point, you know. And the perfect person with that was Dan Wilson, who I wrote the most heartbreaking song I've ever written with, Someone Like You, and he was just like, well, what is it? And I was like, it's this, that's it, man. And he managed to kind of get in the zone and be like, feel heavy from it as well, you know?
I heard that you settled down, that you found a girl and you're married now. I heard that your dreams came true. Guess she gave you things I didn't give to you. Old friend, why are you so shy? Ain't like you to hold back or hide from the light. I hate to turn up out of the blue uninvited, but I couldn't stay away, I couldn't fight it. I had hoped you'd see my face and that you'd be reminded that for me it isn't over. Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best of you too. Don't forget me, I beg. I remember you say sometimes it lasts and loves, but sometimes it hurts instead. Sometimes it lasts and loves, but sometimes it hurts instead. You know how the time flies. Only yesterday was the time of our lives. We were born and raised in a summer haze, bound by the surprise of our glory days. I hate to turn up out of the blue uninvited, but I couldn't stay away, I couldn't fight it. I had hoped you'd see my face and that you'd be reminded that for me it isn't over. Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me, I beg. I remember you say sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead. Nothing compares, no worries or cares, regrets and mistakes, their memories made. Who would have known how bittersweet this would taste? Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you. Don't forget me, I beg. I remember you said sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead. Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me, I beg. I remember you say sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead. Sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead.
It's unfortunate, but heartbreak is one of the great inspirations
Yeah.
for
I love
art
it.
of all kinds.
I love falling in love and I love falling out of love. They feel exactly the same to me.
But the breakup is really where a lot of these songs came from. I mean, you had to you had your heart, it was bad, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
you get
awful.
the feeling it was a bad, ugly
Yeah.
breakup.
It was just so devastating because there wasn't something to blame it on. It was just we just stopped loving each other and it stopped being fun, which is horrible when you can't This is why we broke up. You can't be like that. You're like, I don't know what I done. He doesn't like me anymore. It's more horrible. Like compared to 19, where my boyfriend on that record, my first boyfriend cheated on me, and then that's like, well, that's why we're not together anymore, guys. Whereas this one, it was like, I don't know. I think he doesn't like me. But yeah, it was just devastating. I felt like such a failure for so long, and it was kind of been brewing for ages, and no one I liked or worked with or like family or friends, no one liked him. It was just, and like, I mean, I can dish out advice until I like stop breathing, but I cannot take it. Do you know what I mean? So, and it was just a real coming of age relationship. It was like everything I did was with him, was for him, was because of him, and I think vice versa. I don't think it anymore, but at the time I did. And yeah, it was. I had to learn to be on my own again, and that was really horrible.
Let's circle back for a minute to the song "Someone Like You," because the way that song opens, I mean, from the first 3 lines of that song, we feel like, oh man, she's not making this stuff up. This is not like I saw a sad movie. Like, you really get the feeling. Tell us about how you and Dan, worked on that. You and Dan Wilson worked on that song together and stuff.
Well, again, I had the first verse for quite a while. I had the lyrics, not the melody or the kind of way it ended up being delivered in the recording, but I had the idea for it. I found out that the guy the record's about was with someone, like it's his first person he'd been with since, like, in a relationship with since me. And I thought before that happened, I thought that as soon as one of us met someone else, we'd both be fine, and I'd be like, oh, it's fine now, like I can move on. It just dragged me back into like the hell of the relationship. It was so like it moved me, but in the worst ways ever, not in a good way. And it was sort of about imagining, well, not even imagining actually. It was realizing that he's found what he lacked in me in someone else, and that was really destroyed my soul. And so it's just about that. And then I was imagining it in my head of just like walking up, seeing them somewhere, at a house or a club or a party, and seeing them and not being able to stop myself from going over and making a fool of myself, It's just about that. That's what the opening lines are, I heard you found someone.
Right. Yeah, it's a very direct song.
Yeah, I think it's my most articulate song. And I'm most proud of it, because normally I'm a bit kind of beat around the bush, and I'm always trying to be a little bit clever and go like make up phrases that aren't real and don't exist, and trying to not be too honest with myself. But that song, and when I finished writing it, I was like on my hands and knees, bawling my eyes out in the studio, going, I'm alright now, I'm free. I know it's really cheesy, but when I wrote that song, I was like, it's fine, I can move on now. I've got it out of my system, and I listened to it, and it was like, I remember I played it to my nana, and she burst into tears, and she was thinking about my grandpa from when he died. And I think it's just like, it's one of those songs that's just universal, and everyone can take it and be like, oh, that reminds me of whoever, and that's the kind of song I like. And so I'm very proud of myself for being able to write a song like that touches people in that very specific way,
That's definitely true. Adele, one thing that was clear about you from the very first moment we heard you was you are a great singer, but you're so serious about writing your own songs, and that's really an important part of it. There are plenty of art, there's a whole world of artists who write their own stuff. There's a whole world of pop stars that largely do not write their own stuff. But you seem to be very like, no, I'm a songwriter, and I'm going to write my own stuff. Is that very important to you?
It is important to me, because it's the artists that I like, even though some of the artists I like have never written a song in their life, like Etta James and stuff like that. But it's that thing of, I believe every single word that my favourite singers sing, and they completely convince me and make me feel like the song that they're singing was written for me 70 years before I was born sometimes, you know what I mean? And it's that believable thing. And if someone, or not someone, but if people ever didn't believe what I was singing, I'd be really devastated, and I'd stop making music. So it's important to me that I write my songs and write about my own experiences as a comfort to other people. Do you know what I mean? Because I've tried singing songs that someone else has written and sent to me. I tried writing a song about my opinion on something or other, whether it be a film or a movement or politics or something. And I've tried writing songs about friends and stuff like that, and I get distracted, I get really bored, and I'm like, ugh, who is that person? Do you know what I mean? I don't know who it is. So it's important for me and for other people, I think, that I write my own music. Otherwise it will sound like everything else. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, there's a million other singers and there's a million other writers.
Right,
You know?
right. you know, there's this line, and I'm sure you're going to hear it a million times now, that you're out talking about your new record and doing a lot of interviews, you know, which is like you get a lifetime to write your first record and whatever it is, like, and a year to write your second record or something. Were there some challenges that came up like that for you in putting together the songs for 21?
No, before I actually was in the studio, when I first started thinking, oh, right, okay, so maybe in about 4 or 5 months I'll start winding down off of 19 and start kind of stepping towards the next record. And when I was doing that, I felt really daunted by it. I was thinking, what am I going to write about? Air miles and hotels and like courier services? Like something really boring that no one can relate to. Be totally egotistical for a while. So I did start getting really worried. But then I met who is, you know, I'm sure this is a naive thing to say, and you know, like, I don't believe myself when I hear 19. So I'm sure my next one I'll be like, ugh, what was I saying when I was talking to you last time I saw you? For me, my ex was the love of my life, and I will constantly look for him in every other person I'm going to be with in the future. You know, I would always look for him. I don't want to be with him, but I'll look for him in other people. Mm-hmm. And then I met him, and I was so ready to write. By the time that 19 did come to an end, and I didn't have to go in the studio, I could have had as much time off as I wanted. I asked for 6 months off, but within 3 days, I was like, yeah, I'm a bit bored. Can I go into the studio? It was perfect timing, and I can't admit things to myself. I cannot talk about my feelings. I have to put them into song. And I've always done that. When I was little, I wasn't writing songs, but I was painting pictures. If I like didn't share or something, and my mum was like, "You can't have it. Give it to your cousin or something," I'd draw a picture and give it to my mum and my cousin, and be like, "I'm really sorry." Okay, and it was so by the time it actually came to being in the studio, I was so ready to get this off of my chest, and I was so excited to be making music. I love making music. It's like it's the only thing I like doing, you know. And it's just like I became really oblivious and forgot. In a really bad way, forgot about everything that happened on 19, because I was just so excited to be making new music and being in a room with loads of musicians, which I think actually ended up, sometimes I'd catch myself being like, why aren't you thinking about whether or not this song is radio friendly, and stuff like that, and I'd be getting a bit concerned, because I am very involved in all the kind of other aspects of what I do, but luckily I think because I didn't think like that, I didn't overthink the record, and then therefore it didn't become kind of indulgent or anything in it, you know. And I think if you concentrate on trying to make a hit, you're not going to make a hit. Do you know what I mean? It's just got to happen.
That is very true, and you're wise to know that one. Adele, there's another track on the record that really jumped out at me right away, and it's a ballad. It's a powerful song with a great vocal delivery. It just sounds like a classic song. It just sounds like the American South, like Memphis, or you know, like you just get that feel of late 1960s, early 70s. Anyway, it's the song "One and Only," which is just a beauty. Can you tell us a little something about that one?
Yeah, that song is the bridge, the breakdown is what really I love about that song. But no, yeah, I got it's the only song that isn't about my ex, who the rest of the record's about. But it's about, you know, when you always break up with someone and then you always go back to someone. There's always one person that you go back to, and it's really funny because there's someone really in my life at the moment who, not a relationship with me, but like. She's now going out with someone that she met before I was born, and every time one of them broke up with someone, they'd constantly like go back to each other and stuff like that. But anyway, there's someone like this in my life, and I'm just like, I don't need to give this guy some credit yet, because he proper rescues me every time something goes wrong. And it was just like, I'm petrified of being with him, because I know the minute I be with him proper, that'll be it. And I'll be settled down and everything, and that really, really scares the life out of me. So it's just a song about, you know, I dare you. It's like I dare him, but it's like I dare me to go on. I beg you. I bet it'll be hilarious. You know, it'll be worth it. And then it's just like, oh no, I don't know. It's really hard giving up my heart. Oh god, I don't know. You know. It's kind of one of those songs that ended up coming really pretty and not frantic like a nutter, like I just sounded.
I dare you to let me be your one and only. Walk that mile
talking to Adele here at 90.7 FM WFUV. So your first record's 19. The new one just out is titled 21. You're an old soul, but a young person.
Yeah.
Who do you trust? Who at these, you've had to make a lot of tough decisions as a businesswoman, as an artist, as just a person in the world.
Yeah.
Who's your kind of go-to person? Who's kind of helped you? Is it your mom? Is it a friend? Is it a producer?
It's my mum and my manager.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my mum in terms of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I'm ever unsure or totally positive on something, I still go to her. And with my manager, I trust my manager with my life. He's one of my best friends as well. Like, not my best friend and became my manager, because I do actually think that's really dangerous when you get a friend to manage you. But he was my manager, and we've just become best mates. Like, and it's brilliant, because like even if I'm being a bit lazy and don't want to go to like a strategic meeting, he'll drag me to it, because he thinks it's really important that I understand every aspect of what I do and why I do it, and why and what other people who work for me. There's a lot of people work with me, and I realised that when I was last in the offices here, because I've got two labels. I've got XL in England and Columbia here, and everyone flew in, and there were more than like 35 people in the room, and they were all directly involved with my records. Right. So it was important to me and for him, that I know everything about what it is.
And in the past couple of years, like I said before, you've had the chance to see the world and travel all around and really see the States. What are the parts of it that like you really love, and what are the parts of it where you're like, I'd kind of rather be home watching a movie right now, or what are the parts that come easy to you, and what are the parts where you're like, all right, I gotta rally and go do this now?
Well, it's the music here that really keeps me going. I just love how like the kind of the really like popular trends of music in certain areas, and you like drive through it and you just kind of feel it and hear it. And my tour bus driver, was the one that exposed me to all of that. He mainly got me into like gospel and country and bluegrass, but then I really got into hip hop, like really heavily, and like just like proper R&B and stuff like that. So it's the music that I love. Which if I ever the only things I miss is like my bed, my friends, like from home. I've got a good collection of friends in America now. Before I didn't have any. I didn't know anyone here. But whenever I get a bit homesick, I just sort of start listening, just go on YouTube and like literally type in like Baltimore or something like that, do you know what I mean, and see whatever comes up. So it's just I feel really alive when I'm here, like, do you know what I mean, this is because everything's so sort of, it's like really similar to the UK and stuff like that, but it's just like times 1,000. Do you know what I mean? So I'm pretty obsessed by it all.
I heard from somebody that you're a huge Wanda Jackson fan.
Oh my God, I am.
Let's talk about Wanda for a moment, can we?
Let's.
I just interviewed her.
Did you?
70-something years old, and you talk to her, and you have no concept whatsoever that she's 70-something. Yeah. She's so young and vital, and just has such a great, like, amazing idea of who she is in music and what she means, She's like, oh yeah, no, I swung the doors wide open for everybody, Rita. She was very, like, it was so great to talk to her. Where did you first hear her? Did you hear her when you were touring?
I heard her when I was here. My friend who lives in New York sent me Funnel of Love, thinking I'd love it, just because I think I'd sung him. I don't know for sure. I'm pretty sure though that I'd sung the first verse of Rolling in the Deep to him, going, this is what I want to do. And that song is very, like, quite Wanda. It's just that fierceness of being like, I don't think so, get out. It's that kind of, like, bit vulnerable thing as well that Wanda Jackson has. Listened to it, loved it, thought it was a Phil Spector production at first. Anyway, I loved that song, got into it, and I was, this was the second tour after the Grammys, that was when I got into her. And then I got into like Memory Mountain and You Bug Me Bad, and I love her. Anyway, and then my friend who introduced me to her, he's a photographer and took some photographs for the Observer Music Monthly, which is an amazing music magazine in England, but it's dormant now. But he took the last edition, he took the photos called Legends, and Wanda Jackson was one of them. And she introduced herself before saying, oh, hey, I'm Wanda. She was like, I'm the angel with the dirty mouth. And when James told me that, I was like, oh my God, she's like my hero.
You can relate to that one.
Who is this diva? Love her. And so then I just like started like proper researching her. Like every week I'd go on her Wikipedia and see if anything had been added. Like there's just something, like, she's so fierce, and I just love, like, she used to go out of Elvis. I mean, she's like the rockabilly Etta James. And I've got the new record that Jack White did. I haven't listened to it yet. I need to have time where I can just sit down and listen to it and not have someone calling me or something like that. But yeah, I just love her. I just think there's an attitude with her that I love it.
I read a quote about her where she said, somebody said, "Oh, so was Elvis a good kisser or something?" And she said, "No, I'm a good kisser," or something like that. Was just
She's amazing, yeah. I've got so many like refrigerator magnets. My fridge is covered with Wanda Jackson, like Rockabilly Queen magnets. Such a loser. I get it on eBay. There's a Wanda Jackson collector on eBay, and I buy loads of stuff.
That's awesome. Adele, on the new record, you do a cover of The Cure's Lovesong.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a song that's meant so much to so many people across decades, like no matter how, you know, and your approach to it is very interesting because although so many of us know and love that song and have known and loved it for years, with your version, you just hear the song in a different way where you're like, oh, wow. Like, of course we knew it was a great song, but like, wow, I never really like knew like lyrically how good that song is, you know? Was that one of, because on the first record you did Dylan's Make You Feel My Love, which was gorgeous.
Exactly the reason that I did it, that you just said, was because I couldn't understand the lyrics when I heard Bob Dylan singing it, so I Googled them, and the lyrics were stunning, and I was like, I've got to cover this song just so someone can hear how amazing and stunning these lyrics are. That's the reason I did Make You Feel My Love. So, but Lovesong, Never Tear Us Apart was the cover I was doing, actually, by In Excess. I love that song. First song I learned how to play, like, I just loved it. And then we were covering it, Rick produced it, and we were covering it, and I was singing it, and then I listened back to it, and I was like, who is that person? It's that thing that I was saying earlier. I did not believe a single word I was singing. Even though I'm so connected and bonded to that song, it turned out that actually I'm not. Like, it turns out I love it, but I'm not bonded to it like I thought I was. And my voice, if I was In Excess, I'd be like, oh, how dare she cover that song? No one's covered it because no one can sing it like he can sing it. That's what I think. That's just to stop myself from crying because I can't sing it. Anyway, and then me and Rick were throwing ideas back and forth about another cover because I definitely wanted to cover. Just because of the way the response to Make You Feel My Love was amazing. So I was like, I want to do a cover. I love the challenge. But you've either got to make it better than the original, or you've got to completely make a new song out of it. And then Smokey Hormel, who's one of the guitarists that played on the songs that I did with Rick, he was like, oh, what about Lovesong? You remember we did it with Barbara? And I was like, oh, who's Barbara? And they're like, oh, Barbara Streisand. And I was like, what? And then Rick was going to do a record, a Bossa Nova covers record of Barbara Streisand. And Smokey had... I did say Barbara Streisand, I didn't say Barbara then, did I? I don't know Barbara. So Barbara Streisand, not Barbara. Sorry. I thought I said Barbara then. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, and then Smokey had rearranged it Bossa Nova style. Well, not like Girl For Me Panema, but sort of like a tinge of Bossa Nova. And they played it, and I was so emotional because I was so homesick and stuff like that. And my first show I saw was The Cure. I was 3 years old. And it was in North London in a park with my mum. And like my mum is obsessed with The Cure. And it was just like, it just any other day, if someone had suggested me to sing a Cure song, I probably would have said no. But right at that moment in time, I was like, absolutely. And then we just started jamming it, and what we were jamming became the song, like became the recording. But it's just, yeah, I mean, it's just so relevant, them lyrics, especially doing what I do. Like, do you know what I mean? You're away a lot, and you miss people, and it really is like, everything's by email, and things can be misconstrued and like read wrong and stuff like that, and it's like anything I say is not what you think I'm saying, and you know, however long I'm away, I'm always going to love you. Please don't think that because I'm not there doesn't mean I don't love you. So at that moment in time, it was just like, that song just summed up my entire life, and then I just loved the recording. It's like a musical avatar. It's like surround sound, there's like bits of percussion. It's just a total Rick recording. It's the reason I worked with Rick, so brilliant, yeah.
We're talking to Adele here at 90.7 FM WFUV. It's great to get a minute to sit down and spend some time with you. I guess you got a busy year ahead, a busy summer.
Yeah.
You're going to be running around doing all the festivals and stuff?
I don't do festivals.
Right.
They scare the life out of me, festivals.
Yeah.
I like going to them, but the prospect of performing at a festival makes me want to jump off of the building. Honestly, the thought of playing at a festival, just the thought of no one coming to watch you or loads of people coming to see you just makes me want to kill myself.
Either way.
Either way. There's no way I can be... And I've always said this from day one as well. I did Bonnaroo. I loved it.
I remember that,
I loved it. But afterwards, I felt like killing myself just because of the rush I was getting that was horrible and good. Yeah, so I'm not going to be doing any festivals in the summer, no.
So what do you think? What do you think's on tap for you? You just going to be busy running all over touring?
Well, I don't know in terms of the summer because it's festivals, so I don't know. I'll probably be chilling out at home. No, I'm joking. I'll be doing something. Yeah, no, I'm just got lots of touring because you know, like I said, the record's doing well everywhere this time. Hopefully it'll do well here again so I can come and talk because I love touring here. It's great to talk to you, Adele, and we love this new album. Thanks. I'm Rita Houston, talking with Adele here on FUV. Let's go out with one more song from 21. Here's that Cure cover. Here's Lovesong
on FUV.
Whenever I'm alone with you, you make me feel like I am home again. Whenever I'm alone with you, you make me feel like I am whole again. Feel
Adele on WFUV. Her new album is 21. Words and music from Studio A produced today by Nora Flaherty. Visit our archives at WFUV.org to hear this program and more exclusive conversations and performances. Thanks for listening. I'm Rita Houston for WFUV in New York.